Hi, second graders. It's Miss Tiao here. Today I wanted to read you one of my favorite chapter books. This one is called Mercy Watson to the Rescue, and the author is Kate DiCamillo, and the illustrator is Chris Van Dusen. And this is actually a series of books starring this pig right here named Mercy Watson. The first one I'm going to read today is called Mercy Watson to the Rescue, and I'll probably only have time to read half of the chapter book, and then I'll read the rest of the chapter book next week. In the back of the book, there is a little bit of a preview, so I'm going to just read the summary to you so you get an idea of what this book is about. It says, Mr. and Mrs. Watson have a pig named Mercy. Mercy is a porcine. Porcine is another word for pig. Mercy is a porcine wonder. One night, Mercy decides she does not want to sleep in her own bed. She would much rather snuggle up with Mr. and Mrs. Watson. This is not good news for the Watsons' bed, or for the Watsons. So as I'm reading, I want you to think to yourself, is this a fiction book? Is it a nonfiction book? And the reasons why. All right, so you're thinking, what's the genre of Mercy Watson to the Rescue? Here we go. Chapter 1. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson have a pig named Mercy. Each night, they sing Mercy to sleep. Bright, bright is the morning sun, sing Mr. and Mrs. Watson. But brighter still is our darling one. Dark, dark is the coming night, but oh, our Mercy shines so bright. This song makes Mercy feel warm inside, as if she has just eaten hot toast with a great deal of butter on it. Mercy likes hot toast with a great deal of butter on it. But when Mr. and Mrs. Watson kiss her goodnight and turn off the light, Mercy's room becomes dark. Very dark. And Mercy does not feel warm and buttery toast inside anymore. She feels afraid. I wonder what Mercy is about to do. One night, after Mrs. and Mr. Watson sang their song about the sun, kissed Mercy goodnight, and turned off the light, Mercy decided something. She decided that she would be much happier if she wasn't sleeping alone. And so, Mercy got out of her bed and went and got in bed with Mr. and Mrs. Watson. She snuggled up between them. Mercy felt warm inside, as if she had just eaten hot toast with a great deal of butter on it. Chapter 2. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson and Mercy were all in bed together. They were all dreaming. Mr. Watson was dreaming of driving a very fast car. Vroom, said Mr. Watson in his sleep. Vroom, vroom. Mrs. Watson was dreaming of buttering hot toast for Mercy. She buttered one piece and then another piece and then another. Have some more, dear, Mrs. Watson said in her sleep. Eat up. Yum, yum. Mercy was dreaming about hot buttered toast, too. In Mercy's dream, hot buttered toast was piled high on her favorite blue plate, and Mrs. Watson was buttering still more. It was an excellent dream. Mr. Watson said, vroom, vroom. Mrs. Watson said, have some more, dear. Mercy snuffled and chewed in her sleep. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson and Mercy were all so busy sleeping that they did not hear the bed creak. They were also busy dreaming that they did not hear the floor moan. So you can see that piece of floor starting to come up. Chapter 3. Boom! A hole opened under the Watsons' bed. Crack! The Watsons' bed fell into the hole. Mr. Watson woke up. Mrs. Watson woke up. Mercy woke up too. What the? Said Mr. Watson. Oink, said Mercy. "It's an earthquake," shouted Mrs. Watson. "It's the end of the world." "Nonsense," said Mr. Watson, but he did not sound very sure. He sounded frightened. Mercy, however, was not frightened. Mercy was hungry. "Oink," said Mercy again. She moved to the end of the bed. Boom! Crack! All right, at this part of the story, I want you to stop and think to yourselves, make a prediction. What do you think Mercy is about to do? You can tell yourself, I predict Mercy will. All right, let's see if your prediction comes true. The bed fell a little further into the hole in the floor. "Don't move," shouted Mr. Watson. "Whatever you do, don't move." Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson and Mercy held very still. Mrs. Watson started to cry. "I know exactly what we must do," said Mr. Watson. "We must call the fire department. They'll rescue us." "But you said we shouldn't move," said Mrs. Watson. "How can we call the fire department when we can't move?" Mercy recalled her lovely toast-filled dream. She wondered if there was any toast in the kitchen. While Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson were arguing, Mercy hopped off the bed. Boom! Crack! So let's see where Mercy goes. Let's see if your prediction comes true. "Look," said Mrs. Watson, "Mercy has escaped. She's going to find help," said Mr. Watson. "She is going to alert the fire department." Mercy left the bedroom at a gallop. She was in a hurry. She was on her way to the kitchen. She was looking for some toast. So it looks like Mercy is headed to the kitchen. Chapter 4. In the kitchen, Mercy sniffed the table. She sniffed the kitchen counter, she sniffed the floor, but there was no toast. There wasn't even a crumb of toast. Mercy's stomach grumbled in disappointment. Boom! Crack! "Help us!" Mrs. Watson called. Mercy thought very hard. Where could she get a snack? And the answer came to her. Baby Lincoln always had sugar cookies. Baby Lincoln lived next door, and Baby Lincoln liked to share. Mercy took the kitchen doorknob in her mouth. She turned it. "Help!" Mrs. Watson called again. "Sugar cookies," thought Mercy. She stepped outside. The Lincoln sisters live next door to the Watsons. Eugenia Lincoln is the older sister. She has many opinions. One of Eugenia's opinions is that pigs should not live in houses. Eugenia often says, "Listen closely to me, baby. Pigs are farm animals. They belong on farms. They do not belong in houses." "Yes, sister," says Baby. Baby Lincoln is the younger sister. She's the baby of the family. Baby agrees with everything Eugenia says. So can you guess which one is Baby and which one is Eugenia? That's right. The older sister is Eugenia and the younger sister is Baby. It's easier that way, but secretly Baby has an opinion of her own. Baby's opinion is that Mercy is good company. At the Lincoln sisters' house, Mercy looked into Baby's window. She could see Baby sleeping. Mercy pressed her snout up against the window pane. "Oink," said Mercy, but Baby didn't hear her. "Snuffle," said Mercy, but Baby didn't wake up. Mercy tapped her hoof against the window. Baby sat up in bed. "Who's there?" she said. Baby saw Mercy's snout pressed up against the window. "A monster!" shouted Baby. "A monster at my window!" Mercy shook her head. "Sister!" shouted Baby. "Help, help, a monster!" Eugenia woke up. She did not put in her teeth. She did not put on her glasses. Eugenia went straight to the phone and called the fire department. "There is a crisis of an uncertain nature at 52 Deckerwood Drive," said Eugenia Lincoln. "Come immediately." And then Eugenia put on her robe and rushed to Baby's room. In her own opinion, Eugenia Lincoln was very good in a crisis. All right, here's chapter 6. This is going to be the last chapter I read for today. "What is going on in here?" asked Eugenia. "There's a monster outside," said Baby. She pointed at the window. "That is not a monster," said Eugenia. "That is the pig from next door." "Mercy?" said Baby. Eugenia shook her fist. "In my opinion," said Eugenia, "pigs belong on farms." "Yes, sister," said Baby. Eugenia tapped a knuckle against the window. "Get off my yard," she shouted at Mercy. "Oh, sister," said Baby, "don't yell at her. You'll hurt her feelings." "She doesn't have feelings," shouted Eugenia. "She's a pig." "Oh," said Baby, "I'm sure you're wrong, dear." "I am not wrong," Eugenia shouted. "I am never wrong. I know a pig when I see one." Eugenia scowled. She pressed her nose against the window pane. Scowl means you turn your face in an angry way, and then you have this on your eyebrows. Mercy stared at Eugenia. Eugenia stared at Mercy. "Pig!" shouted Eugenia. She turned and ran out of Baby's room. "Oh dear," said Baby Lincoln. "Oh my." All right, and that is the first half of the book, Mercy Watson to the Rescue. So right now I want you to think to yourself, make a prediction. Think about what's going to happen in the second part of the story. You can tell yourself now, I predict. What do you think will happen with Mercy? What do you think will happen with Mr. and Mrs. Watson? All right, now I want you to tell yourself what the genre of this book is using reasons from the book. So you can say the genre is because. So think about what makes it a fiction book or what makes it a nonfiction book and tell yourself why. All right, and then the third thing I want you to do is, so far I want you to think, do you like this book? And why or why not? So you can say, I like this book because, or I don't like this book because. When you think about reasons, if you like a book, you can think about characters, maybe they're funny, or you can think about your favorite part of the story so far and why you like that part. Okay, so I am going to read the rest of Mercy Watson to the Rescue next week. So you can look for that video, and I will see you all soon. Bye!